Since it's the beginning of the quarter, I thought I would go over some tips on how to help you succeed in this online course. So some of you are in this course because it's what you chose to do. You are choosing to be in an online program because you don't live close to the college or for whatever reason. And I believe that's how most of you probably are finding yourself. Some of you, however, may have had to enroll in this course as a last resort because there were no other options. I know that happens. So I want everyone to succeed in this course, whether you choose to be in an online course of your own volition or if you were put in this course. It really doesn't matter. So that's why I want to give you these tips to try to help everybody succeed no matter what your situation is. So the very first thing, and of course this list is not exhaustive, there's so many more things you could do, but this list that I have is probably the most basic. They're the things that I have seen over the course of teaching for years online, and it's the same problems I see repeated over and over. So please don't in any way feel like I'm saying that you're going to do any of the bad things. It's just my experience, and I figure maybe if I can address these things up front, you can be more aware of them and have a greater, again, chance to succeed in this course. So the first thing that I have listed is to be proactive, and that means you need to take charge of your own learning. There is no way for me to force the course materials on you. I cannot cut open your head, pour in a bunch of information, and shut it and send you on your way. You have to be in charge of your learning. If I assign a chapter to read, it is up to you to read it. It is up to you how well you read it. It is up to you how you work with that information. So really, if you want to get a lot out of my course, you have to put forth that effort yourself. I cannot do it for you as much as I wish I could. And that goes for any course you take, whether it's online or face-to-face. It doesn't matter what subject it is. It's always up to you. So you have to take charge of it. You have to be willing to do the work, and you have to decide how much you want to get out of it. I've taken courses in college where I sat back and I didn't do a whole lot of work, and guess what? I didn't get anything out of them. And that's my fault. That's my problem. And so at the same time, it's your concern. If you want, to get as much as you can out of my course, it's up to you to do it. I've done what I can on my end, and I will help you as best as I can to move through the course, but it's ultimately up to you. So you have to take charge of your own learning. One very specific thing that I would suggest you doing is to make a hard copy calendar, not on your phone, not on your laptop, not on your computer, an actual piece of paper that you can keep in front of you so that you can mark when certain assignments are due, and then you can check them off so that you know you have everything covered. I do try to outline things pretty well in the course, in the online classroom of the course. But really, having something on paper in front of you makes things so much easier. And if that doesn't work for you, have a list. I'm a list person. I love lists, and I've got Post-it notes all over my desk because of that, but they're not on my computer. So try to do something on paper to help keep yourself organized, whatever it is. That's a very personal thing. So do what works best for you. Another thing I suggest in being proactive is to get your work done early and to submit it early. Technology is fickle. You know that I don't assign late work, as stated in the course syllabus. And one of the best ways to prevent mishaps and late work is to get it done as early as you can. The courses are going to open up before the week actually starts so that you can get a head start and get thinking and get reading if you want to. There's no reason you can't get your work done. And when I say early, I don't mean, turn it in on Tuesday when it's not due until Sunday, but maybe try turning everything in by Friday or by Saturday. Even Sunday morning. Too many times I have students try to submit their work on Sunday at 11 o'clock, and then when a glitch occurs, it's late, I don't accept it, and they get mad. Again, that's being proactive for your own learning and your own education. So submit things early. Do not wait until the last minute, because that's when trouble can occur. Also, ask questions if you have them well before an assignment is due. And that means you need to look over the course materials at the very beginning of the week. If you don't look at a paper prompt until Thursday, and that paper is due on Sunday, and you have a question about it, you are setting yourself up to not do as well. So make sure you read all of the materials early, and then ask your questions as soon as you possibly can, so you can get working on your assignment, whatever it is. Lastly, use the college's resources. Use the writing lab, use the writing tutors, use anything that the college has set up to help you. That's why it's there. It's also a better way for you to have face-to-face help. And that's something I can't really do for you, but the labs and the tutors can. So use whatever college resources you think would be appropriate for you, and again, you use them. So that's how you can be proactive. The next thing I want to encourage you to do is to be accountable. And this means to take responsibility for your own learning. So not only do you need to decide, okay, how much do I want out of this course, you have to be responsible for the actions that it takes to succeed. Okay? And one of the best ways that you can be accountable for your work is to use the feedback that I give you in order to improve. I will comment on your essays if you miss even a point on a question in a quiz or a reflection activity. I will tell you why you missed that point. It's then up to you to use that feedback and not run into that problem again, if that makes sense. So use my feedback and take responsibility for yourself and your actions and your learning. Again, that's not something I can do for you. Keep in mind that education takes sacrifice. It really does. I understand that all of my students have busy lives. They have families. Some have children. Some have spouses. Some have none of the above. Some have all of the above. Most of you guys work, for the most part, full-time, and I fully understand that. However, that is not an excuse to not do your work in this class. It is a sacrifice, and I am a huge advocate for education. So to me, education comes before just about anything. Okay, maybe not your children, but I hope you understand what I mean by that. And if you're not willing to make that sacrifice, it's going to be harder for you to succeed. So I'm not saying that, my class has to come before your work, or that my class has to come before the welfare of your family. Just keep in mind that you're going to have to sacrifice. Sometimes your education sacrifices for the sake of your family or your job. But just remember, too, that sometimes you need to sacrifice in work and family in order to help your education. It's just trying to find that balance. I've been there. I've done it. I went through grad school with a 1-year-old. It is not easy, and please don't think that I don't understand. I really do. But we have to sacrifice, and we have to be accountable for that. If you choose to not turn in an assignment because your child is in the hospital, it's fully understandable, but don't expect me to always make exceptions for things like that. Also, and in the same vein, if you make a mistake, if you miss an assignment or just kind of bomb something, it's okay. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. Just learn from it and move on from it. It doesn't have to, be a mistake that then outlines the rest of your work in the class. Just let it go, and it's totally fine. Sometimes students need to focus more on the upcoming assignments as opposed to something that they've missed. Just let it go. Don't worry about what's behind you, and focus what is ahead of you. Also, another way to be accountable is to read the course syllabus very thoroughly. My syllabi are very long, but that's because I have to outline a lot of information because it's an online course as opposed to, verbally delivering it to a class. So yes, I understand my syllabus is long, but you will agree to adhere to those policies. So once you agree to that, if I come back and say, well, this policy in the syllabus states, so I can't do much to help you, don't get mad. Just remember that, it was in the syllabus. I forgot about it. I made a mistake. I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to move on. Okay, we all make mistakes. It's totally fine. It's not like I sit here and judge my students based on their performance. It's okay to make mistakes. That's why we're here. Okay, so be proactive and be accountable. All right, let's move down here. Okay, read everything multiple times. Probably one of the hardest things about an online class is the reading that is involved. And most of the time people, my students don't always have the best reading for whatever reason it is. It's a very common issue. But the greatest issue with online learning is that you need to read things multiple times. You're not going to catch it the first time, so you need to read the course materials, hopefully at least twice. Now, I understand that in this class you will be reading articles and things like that. If you don't have time to read that twice, that's okay. What I'm really trying to stress are the directions that I give you in our online classroom or the assignment prompts that I give you. Those you should absolutely read at least twice, maybe even more, because I get numerous emails with very simple questions that are answered if the student would have just read the prompt maybe one more time. I do work very hard to be very specific, to be very clear. I don't want you to be confused, and that's why I have very long prompts. It's why I have a lot of written instructions online, because if you're confused, you can't succeed. So I try very hard on my end to make sure that you have all of the information you need to meet my expectations and to do good work. But at the same time, because I provide that for you, it's up to you to read it, not just once. You need to read it more than once. Okay, so read everything as many times as you can or need to. If you can read a chapter twice in the textbook, I highly encourage it. You just don't pick things up the first time. It takes more times than that. Okay, another big thing that would help you succeed is to communicate with me effectively. Because this is an online course, the best or the most common way that students communicate with me is through email. So please use proper email etiquette. It's okay to say, "Hi, Patty," and then go on with your question. It's okay to say, "Have a nice day," and then state your name. Very rarely do I ever get that. Usually people just email me, say, "Here's what I want," and leave it. And I really don't like that. That is not appropriate communication. And this is a writing class. I'm not asking you to write well only on your essays. I'm asking you to write well in every aspect of this course, including your emails. So when you email me, give a greeting, say hello, just, "Hi Patty, this is so-and-so. Please tell me your name. I teach multiple classes at multiple colleges, so please tell me who you are." And then be very, very specific as to what you're asking about. If you're asking about a quiz, don't tell me, "I have a quiz and the grade is missing." I have no idea what you're talking about. Also, I title all of the assignments because, of course, they have to go in the grade book. So please use the title as listed in the course. That would really, really help. So the more specific you can be in your emails, the better. Otherwise, I have to email you back and say, I'm unsure what you're talking about. Can you please be more specific? And it just wastes your time. I want you to succeed, but you have to help me help you. And if you're not specific enough, I cannot help. Never submit your work to me without an explanation, even if I know that you're going to submit it. If you say, "Oh, I need to submit this because it didn't work in the Dropbox," that's fine. Don't just email it to me. To me, that's the equivalent of walking into my office, dropping your work on my desk, and walking away. It's extremely rude. So please be aware that your communication, even if it's virtual, does speak about who you are and what kind of student you are. So give me an explanation and why you are submitting your work to me. That should be pretty self-explanatory, but sadly it's not. Also, if you happen to call or text me, just do so respectfully. I do have a family. I do have small children. I do have a husband who works at night. Please just be respectful. I'm not too worried about that. Lastly, develop your work and realize that the more you give me, the better chance you have of earning all of the points for the assignment.